Hello, good morning. My name is Lee Cara, and this is Unleash Your Light right here at the Akashic Academy. Let's make sure that I am live. I hope you guys are having a great week. Everything here is hunky-dory, I suppose. Although the title of the show may not relay that, about giving yourself a break. That's a really important thing to do. We're going to get into it, okay? If you are a person, good morning, how are you? Hello. I'm going to share with a few of my friends. I hope you'll share with a few of your friends too. If you're the type of person who is really hard on yourself, if you find yourself being critical about the things you do, if you think something should turn out to the left and it turns out to the right, good morning, Kathy. Good morning, David. And then you get like mad at yourself and you put yourself down over it. Share the show out. If you know someone who's like that, watch it yourself. Good morning, Jillian. Save it for later if you can't watch it right now. One of the things that I always say is that if something gives you a strong reaction, that means you need something to heal with that. It means that it's pointing to something within you that you can work on, not what's wrong with you, because I don't think anything's wrong with you. It's about how we can improve ourselves. It's always about how we can improve ourselves. Hi, Angelica. Me too, David. Same thing. I'm very emotional and dramatic. And when I tell you my story about why I'm doing this show, believe me, you will see it. All right, we're almost there. So I hope that you guys are doing fabulous. Like I said, my week has been very interesting. Good morning, Mary. And I just felt like this was a really important thing. As I said last week, I always feel like the universe gives me the topics just by what's happening in my life. The universe exactly lays out, all right, this is what you're going to talk about, and here's why. I feel like I don't even have a choice of the topics most of the time. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Kathy W. I'm not even going to try to say your last name. Sorry, Kathy W. Good morning, Anila. So I'm still personally recovering from that full moon stuff from last week. And I've read a lot of stuff about how now we're going into the Lionsgate and the 888 and all this new stuff that's going to be coming through, like the next level up. And I feel like, and everything I'm reading is saying that this is why so many of us are struggling right now with things that we thought we put to bed. And it's very interesting because I didn't really know, I'm not like I don't know much about the moon. Hi, Janie. Okay, good. Save it and watch it later. I don't know much about the lunar cycles and the moon and all of their significance and things like that. That's not my field of research. It's above my pay grade. Hi, Rena. Good morning. But 4 weeks ago, I went back and looked. 4 weeks ago, I started talking about self-awareness. Okay. And since then I've done, so the first show was, well, not first show, but the show was self-awareness, about knowing yourself. Good morning, Kat. And then the next one I did was about judgment and self-judgment. And then the next one that I did was about roundabouts and reruns and repeats and doing things over and over again. And then last week was about taking a good hard look at yourself and being honest. So without me realizing it, all of the shows I've been doing have been leading up to this incredible full moon, lunar eclipse, blood moon, gate opening thing that's happening. So like I said, sometimes I feel like I don't really have a choice in what topics I'm doing, because I don't even pay attention to that kind of stuff. I just, do what they tell me to do and have this emotional thing from the empath, whatnot, and all this kind of stuff. And, here we are and all this is happening and the shows seem to just line right up with it, with what they want me to talk about. So today's topic is, come on, there we go. Give yourself a break. Give yourself a break already, okay? So the thing that we've discussed before is that these emotional obstacles tend to come in waves through the whole community. And probably, if you believe in that kind of stuff, because of this full moon, it's been this really thick thing. But I have run into so many people that are in this awakening that for the past like 2 weeks have been going through some of the heaviest energy that they've felt in quite a while, who have been digging up things that they thought they put to bed, who have been really having to take a good hard look at where they actually are. Good morning, Ashley. So good to see you. Let me take a sip from my coffee cup that's as big as my head, okay? That was a good slurp one. Sorry. So in this process, in this awakening, in this cleaning out of your closet, we tend to come across a lot of things that we don't like about ourselves. We tend to come across a lot of habits, a lot of emotional patterns, a lot of behavioral patterns that we don't like very much. We don't like going back to those places. We don't want to revisit that. That hurts. That hurts. And here in the movement, we do have a tendency to want to be all love and light and no anything else. You know, we tend to want to be, I only want to surround myself with lollipops and rainbows, and no offense to Rena, lollipops and rainbows and fairies, and I don't want to dig into anything else that's going to be painful. I don't want to sit in the darkness so that I can actually take a good look at myself with my night goggles on, you know. But that's one of the most important parts of this. And it certainly is not an easy part of this. It certainly is not something that any of us go, oh, this is the funnest part, feeling like garbage and digging through all this old stuff that we've been holding on to, right? But this is exactly what we need to do. Hi, Yassine, how are you? Oh, hello, Nigeria. Wow, Algeria. Sorry, I didn't read that right. This is exactly what we have to do. And so first off, I'm always grateful when I go through one of these time periods where I am feeling crappy. Like, I'm always grateful for it, as much as it hurts while I'm going through it, as much as it hurts to dig up old wounds and to kind of go through them again and figure out if I've done the right thing to get rid of them. But I'm always grateful, and I'm always saying thank you, even as I am crying in fetal position on my bathroom floor. I am saying thank you for allowing me to go through this. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to really feel this. Yes, you do hear Q, Rena. I already gave him his catnip this morning, though. He wants to go outside now, but that's not my wheelhouse. I'm not the one who takes him outside very often. We really have to dig into this stuff, right? But what happens when we dig up these old patterns and these old emotions, even as we're trying to get rid of them, right? Even as we're trying to clear them out, we have to kind of feel them, right? One of the things I talked about on the previous shows during the past couple of weeks was how you can address these things, feel them, but not collapse yourself into that feeling. Because now we have the right kind of tools to deal with this kind of stuff, right? I likened it to, if back then, when you had those terrible self-judging emotions about yourself, if that was you jumping into 8 feet of water with naked, right? Now you can jump into 8 feet of water with a scuba suit and an oxygen mask and a pair of goggles and maybe even a spear, right? Because we have the tools now to actually process those things that happened to us in the past in a healthy way, in a way that is going to bring us closure, that is going to bring us relief, that is going to allow us to release that to the universe, to forgive whatever happened in someone else or in ourselves, to send it unconditional love, to shower ourselves with unconditional love, and to move forward, right? So that's the goal. But when you're in those moments of those painful thoughts and those repeating narratives that we have. Mine was fat, stupid, ugly, unwanted for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, you know. And when we're in those narratives, it's so hard to see past them, right? And sometimes it might take you a couple days. Sometimes it might take you a couple weeks, right? It can take as long as it takes especially if you get stuck in those feelings, because we want to be the observer this time when we're going through it, right? We want to step back and look at ourselves in our suffering and trace back where it comes from and how to heal it. Okay. So that's the goal. When all this stuff comes up for a second, third, fourth time, these things that we thought we put to bed years ago and they pop back up, that's the goal, is for us to look at it from a more objective viewpoint as the observer. Okay. You can still feel all that stuff and you kind of have to. And that's terrible. You kind of have to, but it's so worth it when you get to the other side of it. So, full disclosure time. Here's the part. Unleash Your Light is all about overcoming the emotional obstacles that we go through, right? That keep us separated from our own divinity. And I had my awakening in 2012, late 2012, and I've been just kind of really working hard on myself. And things ramped up exponentially in 2017-ish, 2016-ish. And I really focused on what the heck was going on in my brain, in my heart, in my spirit, how I was connected. So all of these full moon energies that are bringing up all of this stuff, I have I was married for 20, am married for 20, it'll be 25 years. We've been together in November, and we separated in 2016 and cohabitated in the same home. We're very good friends. I like him a lot. And then he went on the road traveling. So it's me and my son here, and he's moved on, and well, I'm still here, but but so here I am, working on myself and working on myself, but alone. I haven't gotten into another relationship. So I'm alone. And for a long time, and when I'm here on my own, I don't even really hardly think about it. Like, I get a little lonely sometimes, but I don't really focus on it. Like, that's not my focus. I'm focusing so much on my own stuff, right? So he's home, he's here again, and everything's great. We're getting along wonderfully. Like, there's no issues there, but it reminds me how lonely I am, right? So, and that's not what the show is about, but in that memory of that, some of my old stuff came up. And some of my sadness came up, right? Good morning, Deb. And some of my sadness came up, right? And I saw something on television. I watched this little show, and the two main characters got together for the first time after 4 seasons. And it just like tugged at my heartstrings so much and made me want to be in a relationship again for the first time in 2.5 years. And I started bawling. Now, I'm sitting down here by myself at first, and that's kind of a normal thing, and I'll cry for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll, I know there's somebody coming for me. I have faith, and I move forward with my night, and I don't really like dwell on it. But because of having another person, hi Carla, welcome. Because of having another person in the house that I had that with, it kind of like kept coming at me, that this is what was happening. He's on the phone with his girlfriend upstairs, and I'm downstairs by myself, and my 2 favorite characters are together, and I just had an absolute meltdown. Full disclosure, I had a complete meltdown. And this is one of the things that I think is so important to share from those of us who speak out and those of us who do this kind of thing. I'm human, and I go through this stuff, and I dig into it, and it is not fun all the time, Like, I have a big smile on my face most of the time, but let me tell you, when these things come up, they are not easy. But you know what? I let myself have a meltdown. And when he came downstairs and saw me like that, you know what he did? He sat down on the couch with me and let me have a meltdown. And let me say whatever I needed to say. And let me purge whatever was in my heart about being lonely, about being on my own, about facing the world again. Hi, Barb. Hi, Margarita. I like your name, Margarita. He let me purge all that stuff. I must have cried, hysterical, crying. Hi, Christy. 2 hours. I almost gave myself a sty in my eye. It's probably still a little swollen there. Giant puffy bags the next day. It was rough. I gave myself over to it and said everything that I had in my brain, right? Into the night. So 2 a.m., he goes off to bed. I'm sat up for another hour or so. And the next day, of course, I'm full of the shoulda, woulda, couldas. I'm full of the I shouldn't have done that. I'm full of it, like being embarrassed, because we look at ourselves. Good morning, Gretchen. We look at ourselves and we think, I should have it together because I'm connected to divine. I should have it together because I know better, or I should have it together because I have 3 kids to take care of, or I shouldn't be allowing myself to have these moments, or that's wrong for me to be upset. Do you see what I'm saying? If your friend was saying that to you, I shouldn't have gotten so upset, I shouldn't have cried for 2 hours, what would you say to them? You would say, well, you must have needed it. You must have needed to do that. Do you feel better? Well, yeah, I feel better. I mean, I feel a little embarrassed, but I feel better. I feel like I got a lot of stuff out of my head and my heart that I didn't really know was still there. And then you would say to your friend, good, it's exactly what it's for. It's exactly why you're doing it. It's exactly why you need to let yourself have those moments where you're not so strong. Give yourself a break, right? This is what we would say to our friend if they were going through what we just went through. If they were going through those moments where we say, I shouldn't be acting this way. I shouldn't be having this breakdown. I'm the strong one. I know better than this. I shouldn't be feeling jealous. I shouldn't be feeling depressed. I know better than this. I shouldn't have a hopeless moment in a hopeless moment. My co-host. Yes, you should. And it's okay. It's okay to have those moments. It's okay to break down. It's okay for you to have those moments where you don't know what to do. And you don't know which way to turn. And you don't know how to even take another step forward. You know what? Stand still. Stand still. Collapse on the floor for a few minutes and say, thank you. I don't know why I need to stop for a few minutes, but thank you for making me do it. Thank you for letting me have all of this, because I'm going to be better on the other side. I'm going to be better on the other side. It's a very hard thing for us to just allow ourselves to be human, especially in this awakening where we are trying to be better people. But for some reason, we think that having emotions does not make us a better person. For some reason, we think that when we lose our poo, when we break down, that's some sort of indication that we're not as enlightened as the next person, or that we aren't awakened the way that they are. Maybe you're more enlightened because you allow yourself to really explore your humanity, your heart, your mind, because you're willing to go through this sort of painful thing that is all part of living a human life, rather than shutting down and trying to disconnect from anything that hurts and anyone who hurts you. Maybe embracing these moments, becoming the observer, and figuring out, well, why the heck am I feeling this way? And how can I use this to move forward on my path? Maybe that is really where your awakening and your enlightenment is going to come. They always say that we learn more from the people who vex us than from the people who give us praise. Thanks, Michelle. People who are smart people in business, surround themselves with people who will debate with them, with people who will disagree with them and give them a counter argument, give them the opposite, be the devil's advocate for them. Thank you, Christy. We need to be doing the same thing for ourselves. Take those opportunities when you're presented with something hard, and don't go into your shell and hide and play little meditative songs and pretend like it's not happening in the outside world. I truly believe that the experiences that come our way are there for us to have. One of the things that I do that people kind of get really, what the hell is wrong with you with me? I go into every new situation open-hearted. Hi, Teresa. Open-hearted, accepting whatever comes. Now, obviously, if I've been through something and I see a pattern coming, that may be my test to see, are you going to fall for this again? So I can approach it in a different way, but I don't turn tail and run, you know? And if I do turn tail and run out of some sort of record playing in my head about me not being good enough, or me not being strong enough, or you not knowing enough, or me being intimidated or something, if I do turn and run from a new situation, I embrace that too. And I say, I guess I needed to do that. And what can I do differently? And why did I do that? And even if I'm upset, I say, thank you for allowing me to, you know, be a coward for a few minutes and doing that, you know. And I comfort myself. And I give myself a break, and I pat myself on the back, and I say, you did the best you could. And if you didn't do the best you could, then you'll do the best you can next time. Oh, thanks, Margarita. Give yourself a break. It's difficult. Let's put this up here. It's difficult when they've broken the law, and I feel bad for speaking up to it. Like, was I bad for speaking up? Absolutely, that's a hard thing to go through. Absolutely. Because we have our ethics. Other people have their ethics. We have our morals. Other people have their morals. And we don't have to be inside of someone's head to know that when they're doing the wrong thing, that they're coming from a place of pain, that they're coming from a place of lack or loss, that they're coming from a place of self-punishment and guilt or lashing out that pain, right? But when them doing it affects other people, we then have to act on our own ethics and morals. When it comes to the law, you don't have a heck of a lot of choices. I kind of feel like if what they're doing is actually hurting other people, then you have to kind of speak up. If what they're doing is only hurting them, that's another thing. That's something else. Now, if they're going to hurt themselves to the point of fatality, then yes, you have to speak up. You have to. But if they're doing something to their own detriment that's against the law, like an addict or someone who's getting drugs or things like that, but you have to do what makes you feel right as well. And after you do it, if you know that you made the right decision, you can't punish yourself for the consequences of that. If you're doing it from a good place, if you're doing it from a place of love, and I want to help that person, and you're really truly feeling that, not some sort of I'm going to be the hand of justice or some sort of self-serving thing. If you're truly turning them in or turning them over or reporting them from a place of I need to say something, you know, from a place of love and sending that love, after you do it, you can't feel guilty. You have to give yourself a break. You have to let it go. And if at some point in the future you have to have a conversation with that person because they're a family member or a friend, and you have to say, yeah, I did it, and this is why, you speak your truth in the kindest way possible from a place of unconditional love. And unconditional love does not mean that you have to forgive the other person. Condone what they did. You do forgive, but it doesn't mean it's okay. If somebody did something to steal from you and broke the law and you turned them in, you can forgive them without saying it's okay that you stole from me. Forgiveness doesn't mean that. Forgiveness is for you, not for the other person. Just like when we do something wrong, even though we know we did it wrong, we still have to forgive ourselves for doing it. Part of giving yourself a break. You have to forgive yourself for having a meltdown. I had to forgive myself for losing it in front of my husband. I'll put it in quotes, my soon-to-be ex-husband. I had to forgive myself for doing that. I had to forgive myself for letting myself down. We have to figure out and turn that unconditional love that we find so easy to push out into the world and turn it on ourselves and give ourselves comfort and give ourselves love and give ourselves that forgiveness that will help us to let go of these things like guilt and move forward. It's not an easy thing. It's really not, but it's very simple. Hi, Safira. Oh, Safira, mwah. But it's simple, but not easy. Everything in Unleash Your Light is simple, but not easy, because I'm a simple girl. I have a simple message, and it's all about loving yourself unconditionally, loving others unconditionally, forgiving yourself and forgiving others, being nice to yourself, being nice to others. Have faith. Know that what you're doing has a bigger impact. Know that what you are doing is important in the world that we live in. Because we feel small a lot of the time, and we feel like, how does me doing this help anything? It's because we're all connected to the collective, right? So everything that you do helps the collective. Everything that you do in a positive way, every time you clean out your closet, every time that you have an epiphany, you power up the collective. And it's why sometimes we have these moments where we're like, why do I feel so terrible when nothing bad is going on in our lives? Because the collective affects us. And so the things that we do affect the collective, affect that plurality of God, of Gaia, of source energy, of whatever the heck you like to call it Fred. It doesn't care what you call it as long as you're seeking. Those words, be the change, literally mean for you to change yourself. And as you change yourself, it changes the world around you. It's not the things that are actually happening that are the problem. It's how you react to them that determine your future, what comes next. It's how you react to the reality of this moment, reality in the 3D, that determines what comes next for you. If you have an argument with someone and your response is to tell them off, punch them in the face, and walk away, that's going to determine what comes next in your life, right? Maybe you're going to get arrested. Maybe that person's going to press charges. Maybe that person's never going to speak to you again. Maybe you're going to change a direction that could have taken you in a positive way, right? If you have an argument and you say, you know what? I'm really mad at you right now. I'm really upset about this. I don't agree with you, but I respect the fact that you believe it. And let's put a pin in this until we can talk about it without yelling at each other, because I love you and I want us to figure this out. And then you walk away. Now you've changed your future just by what you did in that moment. Now, if you're the one who punched them, what do you do after that? You give yourself a break. You say, oh my God, I did the wrong thing. What am I going to do now? You say you're sorry. You apologize. You say you're sorry to yourself. You say, I can't believe we lost control like that. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to get that under control. I don't like yelling at people. You apologize to that person. Because what we do is reflected in the world around us. The issues that we have are reflected back at us. And so the way that we react changes what comes next for us. And part of that is this: give yourself a break. Because if you beat yourself up for something that you've done, if I started beating myself up for this meltdown that I had this week, right? and I was just on myself about it, and I can't do that, and da 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 da, I would be setting myself up to continue on in that pattern of being sad, of being depressed, of being down on myself, and blocking whatever's coming to me. Blocking what might be coming next, blocking possibly the next person in my life from coming to me, because I'm living in this state of I don't have anyone and I'm so lonely. So then I create that in my world, right? But by letting that stuff out, and then the reaction that I had to it going, it's okay. It's all right. You lost it for a little while. It's okay. By him sitting there and allowing me to say that stuff, that reaction helped me. And I forgive myself and I love myself. I needed to do it. I must have needed to do it, right? And by reacting in that way, now I'm open to the possibilities. I'm open to what's going to come next. I'm able to re-embrace my faith that the next person, my person, is coming, right? Because of the way that I reacted. What you do today affects you tomorrow. The changes you make now affect the next moments in your life, because it's not really about the things that happen. It's about how we react to them. And give yourself a break. It's okay to lose it. It's okay to break down. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to do the wrong thing. It's all okay. As long as you are looking at it afterwards or during it through the eyes of love towards yourself and towards the other person, and you react to it as such. I know it's hard, but I know you guys can do it too, because you're strong. If you're here for a reason, and you're strong and you can do it. Oh, so I'm going past my time. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Yes, Veronica, I love that. Let me put that up here. Accepting I have to change myself to change my life, and that's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. It's all about what unleashing your light is all about. So when we clear away all this yucky stuff, we shine brighter and brighter and brighter. And that connection to the universe, to God, to the collective, whatever you like to call it, gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's the point. That's the point, to strengthen that. You're going to get your downloads more clearly. You're going to see your path so clearly. You're going to feel your emotions in a way that is joyful and wonderful and beautiful. And you're going to be able to exist in the world in a completely different way. Yes, live life with compassion. I love that, Jorge. Absolutely beautiful. I always like to say to embody, my goal is to embody unconditional love every day in my life. So, all right, we are here at the Akashic Academy on Thursdays at 10 a.m. Lee Cara, that's me with Unleash Your Light. And this is the public page of the Akashic Academy. We have some amazing programming here, just really incredible stuff all day long. At noon, we have Rena and the Rainbow Bridge. At 7 p.m. tonight, we have Andrea and Sacred Chakra Flow. But there is programming every single day of the week. Our director, Emily Harrison, has been recruiting some incredible people. Brad Johnson has a new show on there. Cara Melende is coming back. So there's some really cool stuff coming up. But there is, hi Jody, there is a secret page. There is a page that is an exclusive group that you can go into that has so much more information. Thanks, Amanda, that's so sweet. It has so much more information for you. Guided meditations, full moon ceremonies, channeled messages. Coach Nick does Mindful Mondays in there. Oh, yay, Veronica. See, I'm telling you, these things happen in waves in the universe, that people keep going through these things as a group, almost as a collective, because we're all connected, right? So we're all getting that same, here you go. Here's a little lesson for you. So if you want to join the exclusive group, it is right here on Facebook. You could go to theakashicacademy.com. Make sure you put the "the" in there, theakashicacademy.com. On that page, you can sign up for the exclusive group. It's $11.11 a month or $100 for a year. Or you can sign up for the newsletter. That's free. And Emily sends it out maybe once a week. She doesn't spam me or anything crazy like that. And she's always got good information. Even just in the newsletters have great information. And there's a quarterly magazine for the Akashic Academy. And so you can also download the most recent issues of that. The previous issue to this one, I had an introductory article in there talking about loving yourself unconditionally. And this last one, Andrea from Sacred Chakra Flow had an article in that one. And it's full of good stuff. So go there and check it out. And you can always find me at unleashyourlight.org. And on my page, I have original music. I have 2 books that I've written. They're very, very short, 30 to 40-ish pages long, about loving yourself, about unleashing your light. They're super simple. I write just like I talk. I'm a simple girl with a simple message. They're both free. You don't have to pay anything. They're PDF copies. Right at the top, you'll see little tabs. You just click on it. I don't even ask you for your email address yet. So if you want one, you could just jump on in there. I have my original music there. That's also downloadable if you want to put it on your phone or whatever. Everything from a little bit bluesy to kind of meditative and sweet. I have some products on there, you know, some t-shirts and whatnot with little inspirational sayings. And I also have a group and a page titled Unleash Your Light. Are you seeing a pattern here? I'm seeing a pattern here. And you can come friend me. I think I might be the only leak here on Facebook, which is kind of an amazing thing. But you can come and friend me. I have lots of room for friends. I usually do a show right after this and sit on the couch and go into it a little bit deeper. But I have some appointments today, and I'm very excited about it. So I'm not going to do that today. But I'm working on a show for developing empaths and for figuring out how to navigate in those beginning stages of, wow, I just figured out I'm an empath. What do I do now? It can be overwhelming. It can be scary. It can really kind of throw you off and make you want to hide in a corner and shake. So watch out for that. I'm going to make sure that I put a post up, and I'll actually talk to Emily about putting something on here for that sort of a thing. I know when I finally discovered it, honestly, it was a relief because I had lived for so many years not knowing why I felt the way I did, why I acted the way I did. And when I got the message, hey, you're an empath, first of all, I didn't even know what that word meant. So I went from there, and now it's been 6 years, 5 years now since I've discovered that. And I know how hard it can be at the beginning. So I'm working on that, putting that together, probably sometime the next week. And if you're interested, reach out to me, and I'll definitely make sure that you get an invite to the show. I love you guys so much. Once again, you can find me here on Thursdays at 10 a.m. right here at the Akashic Academy. You know what, guys? Give yourself a break. You're doing a great job. We're changing the world, man. Give yourself a break once in a while, right? I love you guys so much, and I hope you have a